This is fucking stupid.
5-minute Raw report, go.
Punk limped out, said he had to admit that he may have been wrong. There was a conspiracy going on. He seemed to me to be being mostly booed by this crowd.
This crowd didn't like him.
Hunter came out. He was adored. So he said he was beat up too, but he had a job to do. Said Del Rio deserved a rematch. You also deserve a rematch. So we're just going to do a 3-way at Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said that if CM Punk wanted to fight again, they could. Punk said, I don't want to fight. Somebody's fucking with both of us. He should have realized a long time ago Hunter was not involved in it. Said it was somebody higher on the ladder. About 3 guys in the crowd chanted, Shane O'Mac. And Punk just looked at them and not into the mic, but right at them he just said, no. Laurinaitis interrupted. He went back and forth for a while. He tried to fire Punk. Hunter said, no, you're not fired. And Punk said, yay! Hunter said, by the end of the night, somebody will be getting fired. And they played his music and he left. Inspector Hunter was on the case.
Yeah.
We had an 8-man tag with a bunch of Raw guys and a bunch of SmackDown guys. Doesn't matter who. Ross said WWF in here. And Christian avoided the Celtic Cross again. And Otunga ate the Brogue Kick, and he ate the Celtic Cross from Sheamus, and Sheamus got the pin, so the good guys won. Hunter told a referee that when Miz and Truth arrived to send them into his office, Alberto was upset that his rematch was coming in a 3-way. He had a good point. Hunter said, well, you can wrestle John Cena tonight, and Del Rio, like a proper heel, backed down. He said he was praying for the return of Vince. Hunter said, you're going to be in a cell match, you should be praying for safety. So Alberto versus John Morrison, Del Rio beat the fuck out of him and tapped him out in a minute.
Yeah.
There was nobody else for Alberto to destroy.
I thought Alberto said he needed a rest. Then he came out and he beat Morrison in a minute. Why didn't he take his title shot?
I don't know.
Why didn't he take a title shot on this show instead of having to do a 3-way in a cage if he was so pissed off about that?
I don't know.
And by the way, for those of you wondering, I don't know what the story is with Melina. I know there's a story on the internet about some Melina insanity that allegedly occurred last night. I don't know if it's true. I asked somebody in WWE. They hadn't heard it. Although they did say there had to have been some reason that this happened to Morrison. But apparently, I don't know. At this point, I'm going to say I'm going to call shenanigans.
Don't say anything.
I'll call shenanigans. But I will let everyone know if I hear anything else in the next couple of days.
Wolverine came out. Hugh Jackman. He's I have seen this guy in many movies, but he's always playing Americans or Englishmen. So when he actually spoke with his own natural Australian accent, it caught me totally off guard. He plugged his wacky robot fighting movie. He actually looked like Justin Gabriel's dad. Out came Vicky and Dolph Ziggler. She wanted to have sex with him. Dolph was not down with his plan. He compared Mason Ryan to a robot. He was making other wrestling in-jokes that I don't think Jackman understood any of. Finally, Jackman said, I'll find an underdog who will beat you and humiliate you. There were the same crowd that was not into CM Punk erupted into massive chants of We Want Ryder. This was Bizarro Land.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Jackman totally understood what was going on, but he ran out and he grabbed a Ryder is greater than Wolverine sign, and he held this up and he went to the back. So I think it was supposed to be a secret what was going to happen, but the cat was out of the bag.
Are you going to see that robot movie?
This is the honest-to-God truth. Your friend Rich is over here.
I was just going to mention this, actually.
Because Rich is apparently looking greatly forward to it. This is the truth. If they just called it what it is, if it was simply called Rock'em Sock'em Robots the movie, I would probably go see it. But it's not. It has a stupid other name.
I see these commercials and I'm like, who in God's name would ever go to this movie?
10-year-olds.
And our buddy Rich is over, and he's like 6'4", 279 pounds, and he's just a big kid, and he's so fucking excited for this movie. And it's like, well, people like Rich, they're the ones that, and he's a great guy. He's going to go see this movie. This is your audience. These fellas like Rich. They're out there, everybody. People actually want to see this movie. I ain't one of them.
No.
No offense, Rich.
We had the real Sin Cara booked to face the... Miz and Truth showed up. They appeared to be very remorseful. They met with Laurinaitis. He led them into Hunter's office. Real Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes. That was the match that was booked. The fake Sin Cara immediately came out. The announcers were telling us how they looked identical and cannot be told apart. It's ridiculous. The crowd has figured it out which is which. The announcers still have to play dumb. A lucha fight broke out. Fake Sin Cara is no good. He gets... How can you be doing lucha for years and years and years and still get blown up like this? It's amazing to me.
Nerves.
I guess that's it. Yes, he was blown up by the end of this 30-second spot. So he took a head scissors and bailed, and that was that.
And Cody vanished.
Cody just had... Yeah. Yes. Dismissed like he didn't matter. Miz and Truth went into Hunter's office. They offered what appeared to be a sincere apology. They said Hunter was not part of the conspiracy. They apologized. Truth called him Trips, which I think is the first time I've heard that on their show. He accepted their apology. He fined them $250,000 each. Because, you see, they're big stars making big money, and thus must be fined a lot of money. On Impact, he would have docked them like $100. So, yes, he said their apology...
Or food stamps.
Yes. He accepted their apology, but also he fined them, and then he booked them in a match tonight against Punk and Cena. Jim Ross was in the ring. He announced Orton versus Henry at Hell in a Cell. The World Heavyweight Champion Mark Henry came out to not much of a reaction. Same crowd that had mild boos for CM Punk and loved Zack Ryder had no interest in Mark Henry. They were giving him the what treatment to death. He actually got flustered at one point, lost his train of thought, and had to slap his belt and say it did the talking for him. Said Ross was a naysayer like everyone else. Said he'd never been in a hell match, but he gave Orton hell last night and he'd do it again. Ain't no man gonna take what I got, he said. Said he would never forgive Ross or the people because they never believed in or supported him. Told Ross to apologize on behalf of the people. Said Ross had told Vince to fire him for being injury-prone and useless. And Ross finally apologized, and Henry looked at him and said, "I hate ass-kissers." And he began to choke him, and Ross was pleading for mercy. Jerry Lawler could take no more. He ran into the ring. The crowd loved Jerry. And Henry let Ross go, but then let Lawler know that you're going to have to take his place. And so Lawler realized, I may as well go down fighting. He threw one great Lawler punch. Henry destroyed him. And they went outside, and I really didn't want to watch this knowing where it was going. And it didn't look any different than any other table spot they've done, but of course it was. And Jerry Lawler was apparently hurt rather badly. And that sucks. But, you know, this is another great Mark Henry segment with the obvious exception of somebody got hurt.
It was actually designed to do a spoof of the Mayweather thing, believe it or not.
For picking a fight with the announcer? Mm-hmm. All right, I can see that. The problem is that I don't watch a lot of boxing, but apparently that particular announcer has a reputation with everyone for being incompetent. If Mark Henry had done this with Michael Cole, that would have made more sense.
Well, sure.
And there's still time for that, by the way. Kellyanne Eve wrestled Beth and Natalya. Eve pinned Natalya with a roll-up. Mm-hmm. They call the Divas of Doom. The two biggest, scariest women on the roster, and they've teamed up to be an unstoppable unit, and all they do is lose.
Maybe they can do a tournament. They can end up with minus 10 points.
That's next on the docket. That's the only explanation I have. Yeah, this is not how you book the female Legion of Doom. Hugh met with Zack. Said he was pathetic, and that made him perfect as the underdog to go beat Dolph Ziggler.
Couldn't they call Kofi and his buddy, the other little guy, Evan, the Legion of Boom?
Much better. A much better name than Air Boom. Well done. Proud of you. So we had Zack Ryder versus Dolph Ziggler. Hugh Jackman coming out in a broski headband as money. They only had like a 3-minute match. And maybe it just took me this long to notice. I don't know if he's been like this and I only noticed on this random short match, but Dolph Ziggler looked awesome in this match. Just fucking great. Cole was on commentary. He talked about Ryder's YouTube videos. Said he had not watched them. He had no interest. Then he said, people who sit at home looking at videos on the internet are goofs. As opposed to people who sit at home looking at wrestling on their TV. I guess they're not goofs. So Vicky slapped Zach. She was caught and ejected. As the referee was dealing with that, Hugh Jackman jumped up on the apron. He hit a better punch than 90% of the crew, and Dolph sold this punch, spun around, and immediately ate a Rough Rider for the pin. This is a great television segment.
Dolph claimed he cracked his jaw.
Hugh?
Yeah.
That's actually quite believable.
If you watch that punch, I can believe it.
Yeah, it looked great, and maybe that's why. Maybe he just really hit him.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
Hugh Jackman was the best guest host they've ever had. If he were not Hugh Jackman, if he were just a guy, I'd sign him to $250,000 a year. He's pretty great. If you've not seen any of his stuff, he's very great and very multi-talented. We had a Jack Swagger hype video, and I don't know why. I've so given up on anything happening with him. And in this hype video, I was reminded, and I keep forgetting this, he's a former world champion. Oh yeah, had a long reign.
A few months. Mm-hmm. This era, that is a long reign. So yes, I remembered when he was world champion and how badly that sucked. So Swagger walked up and he told Vicky this video was more impressive than anything Dolph had done tonight. A lie. A flat-out lie. He also told her that he could help her meet Hugh Jackman. She invited him to join her stable. He was happy, and they passed Dolph Ziggler, who was sad. Punk and Cena had mostly Cena, horrendous meeting. See, Punk was stretching, and Cena came in and gave this monologue about creating controversy and earning respect. And he talked and talked and talked and talked, saying...
What is all that noise out there?
I don't hear anything.
Someone breaking into my house? Finish up.
He talked and talked and talked and talked. It was all completely wooden and phony and cheesy and unnatural and forced. A terrible promo this was. We had a Hell in a Cell highlight video of all the carnage and destruction that had gone by over the years. And serious question here that actually is too bad Brian left the room. Does Mick Foley get payments every time they show him falling off the stage? Because they have used that thousands of times over the years to sell these pay-per-views, and, it's his body. So hopefully he gets a check when that happens. Then we have the main event. Awesome Truth versus CM Punk and John Cena. They were having this match. Miz complained about the referee's slow count at one point, but before he could do anything, Truth got in his way and stopped him from hitting the ref. The match continued. CM Punk got the hot tag. Made a big babyface comeback. Looked really good. And finally, he kicked Miz into Truth, hit the GTS on the Miz, and won. So he and Cena are having their celebration, and Miz and Truth are out on the floor. And Hunter walks out, and he says, Punk, good match. And he says, Truth, Miz, you're fired. Mm-hmm. He walked backstage, and that was all he had to say. He cut backstage where a crew of complete geeks acted very badly like they were stunned. Hunter walked backstage. Another geek tried to interview him. Miz and Truth attacked. They were overwhelmed by the geek sitting there. They were kicked out of the building, thrown out into the street. Hunter was still pissed off. He told everyone to get out of his way, and he walked off, and the show ended. So, yes, clearly there are many different factions within Raw, and we are going to find out who's... Are you filming me?
Continue.
All right. We're going to find out who is actually conspiring to screw who at some point.
Who do you think it is, Vinny?
Who do I think is...
Who is responsible for this screwing?
Vince.
Vince McMahon?
Yeah. Why are you holding your phone up?
I left this room to see who broke into the house. It was my wife. And I'm not blaming you or anything. I don't necessarily want you to even change it, because God knows we don't... but you are unbelievably loud.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because you've got a mic 2 inches from your face. I've got a compressor here that actually has to control your vocalization so that you don't blow everybody's ear out. But you are literally shouting into the mic as if you are an 80-year-old man trying to talk to someone at the other end of a football field. It's astonishing. So I wanted to film it so that you could see how loud you were.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. How do you think you are?
I'm very quiet.
No, you're not.
I am.
I'm here working all the time downstairs, and I can hear you. I'm probably louder.
I was going to say, come on now. You're much more of a boomer.
Well, I'll try to stop that then.
Please don't.
All right.
All we need is you being so quiet that people are yelling that they can't hear you. All right, it is time for shout-outs. We do these every 3 weeks now. We do these on the free shows. So if you send in a shout-out and you haven't heard it yet, that's because we're only doing a free show every 3 weeks. You don't want me with your shout-out on a paid show. You want your shout-out on a free show so that most people can hear it. You get a shout-out when you sign up for the website. And, of course, the website's awesome. As noted, you only get a Brian and Vinny show every 3 weeks now. You only get a Figure 4 Daily every 3 weeks. You only get a Wrestling Observer Radio every 3 weeks. If you sign up, you get a show every single day. Brian and Vinny show twice a week, Figure 4 Daily 3 times a week, Wrestling Observer Radio, sometimes as many as 5 times a week. We interview people. Jim Cornette's on the show this coming Thursday. Lance Storm is on the show this coming Thursday as well. Tons and tons of huge names have been on this program. Chris Masters was just on last week, in fact. You can listen to it for free. Scroll down the right-hand side of the page. Anyway, you know what this show's like. If you want a show every single day, sign up now. It's $10.99. I can't even say one show every single day. I've done days where I've done 4 shows in one day. 4! Me alone! Got 15 to 20 radio shows every single week between all of our hosts. If you sign up, you not only get all of the brand new shows, but you get every show we've ever done. So if you sign up today, it's like you signed up in 2005, because every show we have done since 2005 is available in our archives, which are searchable. You can type in Ric Flair and click radio shows, and you can find the radio show that we did interviewing Ric Flair, of all people. And you'll listen to it. Just download it. All these shows are available with your subscription. There's no extra cost for all of these archives. It's all included in your subscription. Thousands and thousands. We have over 3,000 shows available in our archives right now. 3,000 shows. That's no joke. So, sign up, check it out. I've said this a million times. If you like this free show, if you like all the stuff you're listening to for free, you will love your subscription. You will love it. I guarantee you will love it. And if you don't, you can email me and we'll make it right. But, trust me, everybody. Just trust me. If you like this show of all shows, you'll love your subscription. So if you sign up, not only do you get all those things, plus the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Figure 4 Weekly. Observer's been published since '83. The Figure 4 since 1995. We've done issues every single week since that time. I have not missed a week in 848 weeks. I published a newsletter every single week for 848 weeks. And many of them are available online. We have observers dating back to 1991, 1992, 1993. We're in 1994 at this point. Go back and read them. That's included in your subscription as well. And on top of all that, you get a free shout-out. So let me read some of these, and I'll tell you what you can get. Daniel here. Time to cash in my shout-out with what happened to me today. I live in the middle of nowhere in England. I love wrestling but never got to see it live. My girlfriend knows this, and on my birthday, she bought me a plane ticket to the Americas and some rather expensive tickets. I'm over the moon! My girlfriend is awesome, I think. I wonder, what show is it? These tickets are quite expensive. I managed the bills so I know how much it cost. I'm thinking Mania, or at least front row at a decent event. She then, with the glee of someone who knows nothing about wrestling, tells me it is for TNA's Coastal Chaos Cruise.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even know what she was on about. Needless to say, I'm trying to refund both the plane and cruise tickets with currently little success. Thanks for the shows, disgruntled person.
She meant well.
She did mean well, homie.
You'll get to go on a boat.
I'd go. No, I wouldn't.
Can you use a plane ticket and just not go on the boat?
Don't know if it works out like that.
I don't know how it works either.
All right, Carlos. Sup, folks? My name is Carlos C.D. Cent de la Rosa, and I will invite everyone in the New York area to join United Wrestling Fans of New York, which is basically a group of wrestling fans in the New York area who meet up for pay-per-view parties and go to events in our area like Survivor Series in November.
So let me get this straight. United Wrestling Fans of New York is a group of wrestling fans in New York?
Who are united. That's right.
Intriguing.
You can join up at www.meetup.com/UWFNYC. That's easy to remember. Meetup.com/UWFNYC. And you can find us on Facebook. Just search for United Wrestling Fans of New York. There you go. That's from Carlos. Sounds like a fun group. We need to get one of those for around here. Fortunately, it's Washington. We don't have any wrestling fans around here.
And if they did, they'd hang out with us, and they don't want to do that.
All righty. This fella here says, Brian, it's Boydie from the board. I'd like to give the following shout-out. I'd like to say hi and thanks to Cord Type, Diabol, Yamo version 1, and Andy 500. I'd like to say fuck you to Neil and Tiger Rick from the UKFF board and T. Glancy from the F4W board. Keep bringing out great shows, Brian and Vinny. You cheer me up for my boring and depressing days. I wish that Dave would stop interrupting Brian. I find it very annoying, and sometimes it tempts me to turn it off. So stop doing it, Dave, please. All the best, and thank you. I don't think Dave's going to hear that message.
No. No, he won't.
But thank you, Richard.
He will continue to be Dave.
Alrighty, this person here has a procreation shout-out. We, in fact, offer a free shout-out to anybody who manages to create a progeny.
To spawn.
If the procreation shout-out is still offered, here is mine. The Mance here, cashing in my procreation shout-out to welcome my daughter, Eleanor Rose Chappelle, to the world. She screeches at the first sight of anything wrestling-related, so I must be raising her right. With a new baby and job, as well as a general distaste for Kevin Nash, my wrestling viewing has fallen to almost none, but the radio shows have kept me informed to all. A shout-out to Mark Henry. If he wins the championship on Sunday, I will begin watching SmackDown again. Well, there you go. A shout-out to Granny, the only part of the Empire my wife enjoys. Finally, I want to plug my pre-teen novel, Estelle and the Time King, which will soon be made available on the Kindle and the Nook. Keep up the good work. That is from The Mance. Estelle and the Time King.
You going to read it?
Well, it's not available yet.
You're also not a preteen.
I'm not a preteen. At least, let's move on. Brian and Vinny. It's been my first shout-out in a while. Since I heard about it in the last free show, I'm cashing this shout-out in because on September 3rd, 2011, I married the woman of my dreams.
Aww.
After 8 years of total commitment to each other, all the struggles it takes, from the original reception hall taking $1,000 of our deposit money and running, and completing this wedding for under $7,000 in 6 months, my wife Angie and I made it official in front of friends, family, and a few members of the Empire. I can truly say it was the greatest day in my entire life, and I have never been happier ever. Hopefully we can make it to the convention this year, since we're not saving for a wedding, and enjoy the greatness that is Vegas with all of you. Angie and I love you, and I cannot wait to grow old with you. Oh, Angie, I love you, and I can't wait to grow old with you.
Did you get her name wrong?
I thought you guys were talking to me. I was my heart. Yes, he said that to Angie. He loves her, and he cannot wait to grow old with her. I love my wife, but I can wait to grow old with her.
No hurry, everyone.
Quite frankly.
I've spent a lot of time with old people. It seems to suck.
The rest of this shout-out is for the great colleagues and fellow workers in the Northeast Pennsylvania independent wrestling scene, and a few board people. Shout-outs go to, first and foremost, the guy who I suggested this website to, Joey Image, and his website, pw247radio.com. Also, Mike the Cannon Collis, CZW's soon-to-breakout star, A.J. Evers, Coach Leroy Clarence Skull, Ricky David, my trainer, Matt Durlian, Bruno DeMaio and Matt Turner, Serious Business Andy Header, Ryan Zero, Johnny Toxic, Michael Gary Vaughn, the entire Binghamton DOS crew, Cage, Sean Carr, Big Papa Chill, Mark Krieger, Steve, and IB fucking Green. Thanks to the last year and a half, and more to come. And two more quick ones to the illustrious Sean McGee, who couldn't attend my wedding but was there in spirit, and Mike Coughlin for still having the best show on the site.
What?
That's from Chris Decker, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. A fine man. A fine man. I actually want to send a shout-out to, I guess it would be my grandmother-in-law, Whitney's grandmother, who broke her hip.
Oh, that's no good.
No, it's not. She's, I think, 82 years old. She's not in as good a shape as Granny, and they were very worried about the broken hip. And she had to undergo surgery this morning at 6 a.m., and there was, of course, concern, a lot of concern, actually. But she got through it just fine. She's all morphined up, I believe, and she's pretty happy, although quite confused. So best wishes to her. Hope she ends up all right. It's going to be a rough road, but she's a tough old granny, so I think she's going to make it through. So best wishes to her. All right, this is from, let's see, what do we have here? Jack?
Swagger?
Nope, that's not a shout-out. We got one more here. This is from Ed. What's up, Chico, Vinny, and the Empire? As some of you know, I went through a very tough couple of weeks with the passing of my dad a week after having heart surgery. I took it very hard, and the only thing that kept me from losing my cool is all the well wishes I received. So I just want to take the time to thank everyone who commented on my Facebook posts about my dad. Thanks to everyone who wrote well wishes on my wall, sent me IMs, messages, PMs on the board, the boarders who commented in the thread in the MPI and who sent me emails, texts, and called. You guys have no idea how much you helped me these last 2 weeks. And a really big thank you to you, Brian, for talking about it on Observer Live. I almost don't want to troll you anymore. Almost. And a super big shout out to my best friend in the world, my partner in crime, for being there for me, giving me a shoulder to cry on, and did her best to keep my mind off things. Not sure I could have handled things without you by my side, Barb. And once again, thank you, everyone. Life is easier when an empire has your back.
Ah.
And, of course, he adds, P.S., everyone, check out Over the Top Rope Radio with Bill Apter.
Check it out after.
Over the Top Radio with Bill Apter. It was a dream come true to talk to him, and the three of us agree it was our best show ever. And, of course, they're on Blog Talk Radio, him and Cottrell and Craig. So, best wishes to Ed. Glad you made it through that. I know that's not easy. And actually, while we're giving shout-outs here to various people, I want to make sure I give a big shout-out to Doc Young. For those of you that have not read the story that Missy put on the front page and haven't read the update on Doc, Doc Young is the host of Wrestling Weekly, and he also is the producer for Figure 4 Daily. And over the last 2 years, a lot of the biggest guests that we have had on the show, and we've had some big fucking guests on Figure 4 Daily the last couple of years, Doc Young is the guy to thank. He has lined up some amazing guests. He works very hard. For those of you that have ever done a radio show, and for those of you that have not, this job sucks, setting up guests for a radio show. It fucking sucks. It's very hard to set them up. People pull out. You got to get things arranged for certain times. Certain people can't do certain times. You got to try and change things. It's a very unforgiving job. It's a thankless job. I try to thank Doc Young a lot, but quite frankly, it's just a thankless job. And it was very, very hard for me. I tried to have my wife do it, and she actually got Brutus the Barber Beefcake on the show. But he was such an ass that I didn't want her to have to do it anymore. And Doc Young, he'd done Wrestling Weekly, and he got great guests, and I said, Doc, help me out here, brother. And he's helped me out, and he's set this up for the last 2 years, and done an awesome job with Wrestling Weekly, both before they were on the site and now that they are on the site, him and Les Thatcher and Will. And anyway, Doc's been having some serious health issues, and I wrote about him on the website, and he is still in the hospital, and it's looking like he's going to be in the hospital for a long time.
What bullshit?
Yeah. This is going to be a long battle. He's been in the hospital for a long time. He's been having health issues on and off for years. It's one of those things where some days the doctors are like, okay, this is what it is. Some days the doctors are like, we don't know what it is. It's been real tough. And, he's still able to communicate here on the computer, but he's having a lot of other issues. And, one thing about Doc is he's had more health issues than like 99.9% of the people that have ever subscribed to this website. He's just wrote me an email tonight, and he's in really bad shape, but he's joking around in this email, and he never complains about it. He's a real tough guy, and he's just hanging on, and hopefully he beats this. And again, they don't really know what it is, but one of the things that they think it is, this can be like a 3-year battle, but in the end, he can end up okay. So we're all sending out our best wishes. If you want to send an email to Doc Young, he's at docyoung999@hotmail.com. That's docyoung999@hotmail.com. If you get a chance, drop him a line. He's a great guy. He's worked really hard on the website. And at some point, we're going to do some sort of fundraiser for him. Obviously, the cost of this is just ridiculous. So I don't know how we're going to do it. Maybe set up a PayPal or something like that. But I want everyone, if they can, I don't expect anybody to do anything. But if you'd like to, we're going to set up something to help try to help Doc out, because he's having a real rough time. But he's sticking in there. He's hanging in there. And I have faith that he's going to end up okay. And hopefully everybody else can send some best wishes his way. I don't expect anybody to send anybody else money or anything like that. But if nothing else, here's the email, docyoung999@hotmail.com. There's not even anywhere to send money to anyway. So just send him just send him a hello. Send him some nice words. Tell him a joke. He'd appreciate anything. So it'd be a nice thing to do, and hopefully he makes it through. So anyway, those are the shout-outs for today. Best of luck to Doc. Obviously, I want to thank everybody for listening. We've gone a long-ass time here on this free show, so hope you enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow with more, so check it out, and we'll talk to you again after a while.
Adios.